Yo, what's going on, people? Welcome back to the
You guys hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Yeah.
Okay,
Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to Saeed TV. We are live after that pep schooling by Amorim. You know what I'm there. Amorim cooked Pep Guardiola, our manager. You know what I'm saying to you? What are you lot telling me in the chat? What are you lot saying? Smash a like on the video. We got man like Temmie in the cut. Temmie, what are you telling me?
I'm good, man. I'm good. That was a fantastic watch. Fantastic watch. I'm excited to talk about that match. You feel me? Hit the like button, everybody. Hit the subscribe button. Much love to everyone. Much love to the panel. And yeah, I'm excited for this, man.
Come on. We got man like Neddy in the building. Neddy, what are you saying?
Big up, guys. You guys are overreacting again. You're doing the same thing that put us in trouble.
Be happy for once, man.
It's
crazy.
What's wrong?
You know what? You know the thing here is
overreacting. How am I overreacting?
Yeah, you know the thing. You know the thing is like, I don't. Saeed, you did a show on Monday, like, and you all like basically agreed that City are on a downfall, and then they lose another match. I'm just saying, like, we've seen this. I'm not going to get dragged into this again. Now the manager has to prove to me why he should keep that job. It's not the other way around. Like, I'm not.
This guy's the definition of a vibe killer, man. Come
it's
on.
not vibe. I don't understand. How am I killing? How am I killing
vibes, man?
How am I killing vibes,
man?
We did it for Moyes.
We
did it for Mourinho, Van Gaal. We did it for Oli. We did it for Ten Hag. Why can't you guys learn?
We're going to get into it. We got man like Estrella in the building. Estrella, what are you saying, bro? You good?
Yeah, I'm straight, man. Big up everyone in the chat.
And then we got man like Brian, you know what I'm saying to you? The Amorim co-founder, you know what I'm saying to you? The Amorim, the one that was saying, yo, this is the guy. You know what I'm saying? Talk to me, man. What are you saying, bro?
I mean, I feel very good. Unfortunately, I couldn't watch the game. I went to go vote, so that's happening in America right now. But
yeah,
it was to see
vote
the result.
Donald Trump, people. Vote Donald Trump.
I was following the results, and I'm not shocked. I'm not surprised, right? City right now are very vulnerable to transitions, and Amorim's team, they can carve anybody apart. If you watch the way they play, they go right through you, right through the center. They'll play right through you. Without even watching the game, I can tell that's probably what happened pretty often. But ultimately, I'm really happy. I don't think it's wrong for Manchester United fans to be happy. Guys, you can be happy, but you can also be cautiously optimistic that Amorim has a huge job on his hands. It's his biggest job so far, but he has the skill set to do it. It's just if Manchester United are going to get their act together to support the manager. Fans, people at board level, everybody needs to come together to support this guy, because let me tell you, there's not many managers better that you're going to get. There's just not, like, at this point in time. So everybody needs to support the manager. No dilly-dallying around. If we need to get rid of a player, no more player FC. You're not going to get many managers better than Amorim. That's just the reality. He's one of the best right now that we could get, and we got him. So to see him demolish Pep is enjoyable. It brings a smile to my face. So there's no point in trying to overgas it or downplay it. He has a very good sporting team. And Manchester City, yes, they are weaker than they've been before. But who is going to be confident if we play Manchester City right now as Manchester United? Nobody.
That's what I'm saying, bro. Listen, they have a few injuries, don't get me wrong. But at the same time, everyone was saying that City's going to win today. You know what I mean? I predicted 3-1 actually, But tell me, start off with you, man. How did you see the game? What did you like? What you know what I mean? What you might not liked? You know what I mean? Talk to me, man. What are you saying?
Yeah, bro. I really liked the resiliency early on. I think that was a big telling factor because City dominated for the first felt like 20, 25 minutes. Then they scored against the run of play. You feel me? They scored against the run of play, which was good to see. That Gyökeres goal, if he meant that first goal where he struck the ball into the floor, that's crazy.
He meant it, bro. That's good. That's Gyökeres in a nutshell. He meant it.
Like I think he meant it too. But I was like, yo, that was a crazy finish. And obviously in the second half, they just dominated right off the bat. I think they scored 2 goals in 2 minutes or 2 in 5, like something crazy like that. So, and then obviously let City have the ball and defended really well. So there was a lot of positives to take from that game. Yes, City have injuries, whatever the case. I'm not saying this is going to happen every single week when he first gets here, but like it's a good sign. It's definitely a good sign to see, like, last home game, a lot of pressure on him. A better side is arguably one of the best teams, or arguably the best team in the world. It's a good way to go out at home. So there's a ton of good things. Tactically. The team doesn't have fantastic players by any stretch. Like, they have some good players.
No.
They have some good players, but nothing special. You know what I mean? I don't think they have anywhere near our squad in terms of talent. So yeah, it's good to see that he can work with players and improve players, because realistically we need him to improve players. Like, that's going to be the sign. Is like, okay, yeah, you can buy players, but the players we have now, can you revive a player?
Yeah.
Right? Can you revive an Anthony maybe? Can you revive a Mason Mount? Like, can you do something like that where we don't expect it, right? But you make somebody who's struggling get back and find form. So yeah, man, it's really good sign, and I'm excited, man. Ipswich Town, we go. That's
Ipswich first game. Shout out to Matt Ross, man. Big up to you, man. It's been a minute, man. He said the sweetest thing about tonight is that it felt like a United victory for all the times they've slapped us up. Second goal was disgusting. The second goal, for me, their whole kind of second half resurgence, yeah, and the mentality second half was ridiculous, man. They came out in a whole different kind of way, in a whole different kind of mood, and the passing and the combinations for that second goal, man, was ridiculous, man. I can't lie to you, bro. That was a proper team goal. Playing out from the back, into midfield, into attack. Like, that was a joy to watch. And then they got the second goal as well. So, like, bro, like, they literally had Man City pegged in at one point, bro, where they were hitting them on the break all the time. The movement, the pace of Gyökeres in behind, like, bro, and then Man City, that penalty wasn't really a penalty, let's be honest. Like, his arm was in a natural position. So that could have been a little bit of a joke there. But listen, they got the fourth goal, penalty, Gyökeres hat trick. Like, bro, Amorim, and I don't know if you see the videos of Amorim now, but he's getting hailed up. You know what I mean? They're all crying and emotional. It's one of their best managers that they've had, man. He could have scored 6, man.
They could have scored way more. It was Gyökeres had an opportunity on a break where he made a mistake and didn't make the right choice. He had some options. He took a shot instead of maybe passing it. So there was opportunities, man. Like that. For me, it's really just like this. There's a clear structure. You can see how, like, he wants to play, like, in the build up when they without the ball. All that stuff is really good to see. So yeah, man, if he can implement that, it's gonna be smooth sailing. And there's goals. Obviously, there's also goals. So, which is something we struggle to do. So
yeah, 100%. Nedu, did you see the game? Obviously, without saying we're overgassing it, but what do you think of the game? The game plan, the way that Sporting played. Talk to me. What did you see that you liked?
Like I said it the last time I was on. Like, Amorim is a very good coach. Shout out to Brian, because he was calling Amorim for a while.
Yeah.
I will be totally honest. Like, he wasn't my first choice. Like, I didn't really. He wasn't my first choice because I didn't think his formation or his style of play would work in the Premier League. Not because the 3-4-3 wouldn't work, but because of the personnel he deploys in some areas, right? But I mean, if he can, no matter what form City is in, if he can go to City and put 4 goals behind them, you have to be applauded. So, no, I enjoyed it. I didn't watch the whole match. I watched a little bit of first half. I slept off. I woke up um, when they got their second goal, the penalty. So, I mean, it was good. Like from what I seen, like he really said, like put them out there to go win, not to settle for a draw or pack the butt. No, like I like the fact that he took the game to them and he's like, yeah, win this game.
Let's have
for me
it.
and stuff. So
Yeah.
I like that. I like that. It just shows that he's fearless. And
Fearless, man.
if
Yeah.
we need anything like any if there's any characteristics we need in a coach right now is the fearlessness, because we thought
Yes.
Ten Hag was fearless and he came, yeah, he got pumped like 3-0, 4-0, and then he's like, all right, no, I'm gonna switch to something else. Like again, I would liken him to Ange, although I don't rate Ange highly, but Ange would still stick with what he knows, and like I like the fact that he took it to them. So big ups to him, and big up to
Yeah.
Brian too for.
Spot on, man. Estrella, what did you see, man? Chat to me.
Obviously, I watched the game. Obviously, I'm happy with the result. In terms of the manager, I would say I was pretty early on with Brian when I said he would be our next manager. Well, I wanted him to be our next manager. Like I said, I'm not going to get over excited. It's like Eric Ten Hag side at Ajax, bang ball. Even Ragnick, when he's gone to Austria, they bang ball. We've all seen that if they work with a collective of players that buy into a system or into an ideology of how he wants the coach to play, they can all do well. The only thing here is we're excited about the coach. My thing is, can he implement that philosophy at United? That's because there's no denying that he's a good coach. Like the only thing that would actually help the situation is that by him coming to United would exasperate the whole situation about if the players don't perform, it just gets highlighted even more which ones that they need to go. So I'm not going to get overexcited with the result. Like I said, there's a lot of factors in this where City not being 100% healthy. Also, it's his last game. You're not saying down on his sword, but I think that's an advantage because really and truly, it's his last game. He can afford to go all guns ho. Not saying that's not his normal ideology in terms of football, but a man like if you're cornered and there's 100 police officers and you've got a gun and everyone's saying, "Oh, get out, get out, get out," you're gonna die. You're more entitled by just going out and your sword is less. Either that or you're serving time in it. So either that. In summary, I think it was a good game. There's positive things to look forward to. I'm just skeptical about him implementing at United, and hopefully he gets the backing that he should deserve in it.
It's the strengths that he has as a coach, right? Why I'm not looking too much at the Ten Hag comparison, like a lot of people are doing.
It's not similar to Ten Hag though.
The failures of other managers, because the strengths he has so far, from what a lot of people say, especially people in Portugal, is that he has the ability to get people to play his system. He's very good at doing that. That's like his biggest strength, is being able to get everybody to play the way he wants to play. Now, there's no doubt there are players in our team that are not going to make it, going to get caught out, they're going to need to be sold. We all know that. But it's coming in, the 600 million we've already spent is getting some of that money, some of that return, something out of it. That's for me, like where he's going to have some success. And obviously being able to identify players he can bring it to the team to make it better. That's what's going to make the rebuild a lot shorter and better than we've ever done in the past, because we look at the other managers we've had in the past, guys. Moyes wasn't it. Let's be honest. LVG came in, and really he wasn't a fit for Manchester United. This was someone that I don't know what happened. Ed Woodward just ran out and brought in. Didn't make sense at the time.
Still a good coach, though.
He's a good coach, but if you go through his history, one of LVG's biggest problems is he falls out with players. He fell out with so many players.
LVG got let out, like he got sacked way too early, man.
He needed one more season. Yeah,
LVG was the only manager who got us to actually play football.
Yes,
you guys don't forget.
He got us to play a certain way, and he's very strict in the way he plays, but he's very, very rigid. As a Dutch coach, he was very, 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 very rigid. People forget we played some very boring football sometimes, where we just pass the ball constantly at the back. Constantly. I'm not saying there weren't some good results, but I don't think it was a good fit. Like you can say a coach is good, but it's not. If it wasn't a Manchester United coach, we go into Jose Mourinho. We hired him at the wrong time, but still, because of the quality of Jose, he still got our highest points total, and I still think he played some of the best football we've played post Alex Ferguson. But in the end, Jose has a shelf life. You know, we always know 3 years he's done, he's gone.
Yeah.
Then we bring in Ole, which we should never have brought in. Never have brought in, because Ole, I respect him as a legend. He's one of my favorite players ever. But the problem he had is let standards fall so bad.
Yep.
The standards at the club fell so bad.
To be fair, Ole was a side man during his playing career as well. So like it could have never have worked.
Side man, but he scored one of the most important goals in Manchester United's history. So I'm not gonna.
He's a cult hero.
I'm not gonna knock his playing career, but as a coach, he just wasn't that guy. We had a very young coaching team with McKenna and Carrick, and then we didn't have a senior guy above them really. So the standards at the club fell completely. Now Ten Hag came in, wanted to institute a really structured to everybody follow on side with him, but he had his own issues. Ten Hag, as well as a Dutch manager, is also very rigid. He doesn't like changing things.
Are we going to skip over Rangnick as well?
I mean, Rangnick is
a manager though. Let's be honest.
He was a very short-term interim manager though. Like it's really hard for me to. I rate him for what he said. His analysis of the squad was great. I don't think he would have ever been a good long-term manager anyway.
No, of course. I'm just saying when you're going through the previous 10 years, I'm just hoping you put his name there as well.
But Brian, you agree that he should have stayed for 1 extra year?
He should have stayed as what he was supposed to be, some kind of sporting director.
I believe he should have stayed.
Not as a coach.
I don't believe he should have stayed as a manager, but as in the sporting director. What Brian?
Can I explain why I said he should? I believe he should have stayed, because up until now, he's the only man who had the balls to drop the players that weren't playing good.
Yeah, true.
That's why I would have wanted him as a sporting director.
Sorry?
That's why I would have wanted him as a sporting director, because
the sporting director has no right to tell the manager to drop a player.
Yeah,
he has the power to sell. He has the power to sell the player, because we're hearing right now from the Athletic that Amorim is not really going to be recruiting in charge of recruiting for this coaching team. Yeah. So his job, he's the head coach.
He's the head coach. That's it.
No, but there is some kind of bloodlines in between. Like, he's the head coach. I understand that, but there will be some kind of correspondence between.
You ask his opinion.
All I want to quickly touch on, Brian, quickly pause here, is I understand, or I'm kind of seeing the direction of what you're trying to lead up to. If everyone could let you finish, but I was gonna say in relation to before you finish that, I was gonna say Almiron is he's the unknown, he's new, cool, that's fine. All those other people or predecessors that you mentioned beforehand, they were all good in their own right, or minus Oli, to some degree. They had proven or they had won stuff to for justification for them to be Manchester United manager at one point or another. My thing is, you could just see this as another one of them lot. The main thing
I disagree. I mean, Jose and LVG won things at Manchester United to show their quality of what the kind of coaches they are.
And to just play the devil's advocate, only one at Mulder too. So they all want something within their own respective rights as well. So
I think the good thing about this guy is that he's coming in with a structure behind him.
Yeah, that's the best thing. Yeah, that's the best thing. Yeah,
that's the biggest. The ones before, they didn't come with, let's be honest, but they had Woodward.
They didn't have that support. They didn't have that support.
They didn't have that support structure. That is key for a new manager to come in, to know that your job is to coach. We'll take care of the rest. You know what I mean? Can
I ask a quick question though? Something's been bugging me.
Yeah.
Because this is Ineos's actual selection. If everything, because everyone always says, "Oh, we'll give it time." That's what they said about previous managers, and after a couple of months, they turned. So it's if things do not get any better, these people are gonna have to stick with him. So everyone's gonna have to get behind him, because they ain't gonna get rid of him again. Unless you guys would say that after a couple of months, if it's not turning how we thought it was gonna be, we're starting next season and there's been no improvement, would you get rid of him?
This season here, he's going to be expected to get into the top 6 and win the Europa League. That's what I believe.
Top 4 for me. I'm not doing no top 6.
If you get the Europa League, it's still in the Champions League.
if he's a good manager, like we all think and know he is, get that team into the top 4. We're not far away from the top 4. Get the team into
Well, let's
the
see, you
top
can
4
do it. You never know. You
and
can
win
do
the
it.
Europa League. I'm very
knows?
serious.
But the thing for me,
you
though,
should be able to
you
do
win
it.
the Europa League, you don't have to worry about top 4. I mean, this top 4 idea.
I think what
in
will
the Europa
separate
League?
it.
That's
I think what will
false.
separate. I think what will separate Amorim from the rest is how soon he implements his system.
Yes, that's
what's going to buy him time. That's nothing else. If everyone sees he's trying to implement his system and we can all see players are failing at it, that's a different thing. Because with Ten Hag in his first season, he didn't implement his system really. You know, he kind of continued what Ole was doing and everything, and we brought in Casemiro, which had a huge impact on the team and whatnot. But he abandoned the system the minute he got spanked. And he went to the second season and he played a different season, different system entirely, and wanted to build up around Mason Mount. So really, Ten Hag shot himself in the foot twice.
Facts.
So I can't. People say if Amorim comes in and starts doing all those things where he's making all these mistakes that are glaring, then he's not going to get time. But if he comes in and says, "Lee, I'm playing my 3-4-3. This is how I want to play. You guys are going to have to play this system. If you can't do it, you're going to get schooled."
Today, yeah. Tell me, when you looked at the system today, yeah, who do you see playing where? When you looked at today, you looked at Araujo, you looked at Sekeda, you looked at Holmond, is it? You looked at even the Jokeres and Inacio and Trincao. Trincao, bro. The guy was carrying the ball a lot.
I've rated Trincao since his Barcelona days. When he went to Wolves, I rated him. I don't know why he never worked out at Wolves. Like I can't put it around.
Yeah, a lot of them didn't know.
Yeah, like I just don't know. Like
Inacio.
Saeed, I told you about Inacio at the start of the season.
No.
Like, I told you about Inacio.
But my thing is, yeah, and I come to tell me, like, who do you reckon is going to... Because for me, Trincao, yeah, for all how people say he is, you have to carry the ball in this system.
Carry the ball, bro. That's what I was looking at. I'm like, a couple of things I noticed. Like, there's a lot of people talking about, can some of our wingers play wing back? No, I can't. None of them. Garnacho, none of those guys are capable of being a wing back. So that was the first thing out the window. Second thing is, like, people keep on, and I don't want to be that guy, but like you said it, like, you need those like inside 10s. You need to be able to carry the ball. Like that is so important. And none of you need to, like, Trincao was the ball carrying today was ridiculous. Like, there was moments where I'm like, like Morgan Rogers-esque, just like from first phase to third phase carrying the ball. You feel me? So Bruno doesn't do that. Like Bruno Fernandes doesn't carry the ball in that way. Even Eriksen at his older age, I think he doesn't carry the ball like that.
Tell me what about Ahmad?
I think Ahmad can do that. I think Ahmad's very good. I think Ahmad's
very good. Xerxes, to be fair, can do it, but he's too slow.
Yeah,
he's too slow.
The name you guys are looking for is Cunha. That should be our number one signing.
You know what? Big up to Brian because I don't rate Cunha. I don't think he's good enough for United. But if you're talking about ball carrying, Cunha and Mateus Nunes. Cunha and Mateus Nunes, they can carry the ball.
This infatuation you have with Cunha, I don't disagree with you. I think he's like a good for that exact thing, yeah. But I agree with Nadu. I just don't think we should go for someone else with Cunha's attributes, but just better.
The question is who?
Morgan Rogers.
I think Cunha is good enough for, like, an Aston Villa or Newcastle. I don't think he's good enough for us.
I think he'll surprise you. Maybe.
He didn't call it at Atletico Madrid, and they play almost the same. Almost the same formation,
He was younger at that time, right? He hasn't developed. When he came into the Premier League, he wasn't scoring as much goals, and he wasn't performing at a higher level. But he's improved so much.
He has
to the point where look at his carrying numbers. He's the best in Premier League.
I don't know Morgan Rogers. His end product is rubbish. What are we doing here?
He's not end product is not rubbish.
He
got more GA than Bruno last season.
He got more GA than Bruno last season. Bruno, I don't even rate Bruno. Like you're saying,
but like this is playing for Wolves, one of the poorest teams in the Premier League.
Neto did the same, and Neto looked very much better than he did.
But you got to remember, chances we're gonna create, for a better manager as well, and also the fact that he's going to be having a more license to do more things here rather than defending what he does maybe for Wolves and tracking back and keeping in shape. Like, bro, he's a very good ball carrier, man, and this system he could cook, bro. You know what I mean? Like,
why I'm not as gung ho. I like Morgan Rogers, right?
Yes.
But for me, it's the off the ball thing. That's for me. How hard does he work off the ball? Does he press?
Do you watch Aston Villa games?
I've seen him,
Morgan
but like
Rogers
sometimes
he's a hard worker.
He's not
very hard worker.
Not for me, because when you look at Villa setup, they have McGinn, who plays out on the left. He has Onana and he has Tielemans in the midfield. So he has quite a number of people covering for him in that midfield, which allows him to do the carries he does.
Tielemans has one of the worst defensive stats in the league. You can check it. So Morgan Rogers ends up dropping like very deep into the midfield and carrying the ball. If you watch Aston Villa games, this guy he ends up taking the ball more than 20 yards at most times. You know, like he actually works hard. Like maybe watch him more. I'll say Cunha does the same thing, but Rogers, I would argue that he has better.
I like both.
End product
I like both.
Than Cunha. And I'm picking the one with the better end product any day. You know, another person I would say we should look at is Morgan Gibbs-White. He's another very good player.
I looked at him.
He's a good player.
I think he's a good player, but I think he again Tottenham level, Aston Villa, Newcastle. I don't think,
bro. We need to get to the top, bro.
I think
you need to start going. Sorry to cut you off. I think you need to start going just one above what you think already. Like
who's that?
I'm not going to say you can get him because he's not obtainable. Florian Wirtz, someone of his caliber, but you're not going to get that. Are you? So it's not realistic. I don't think you can find it. Even maybe
he's right. To be fair,
I hear you.
The problem is
attainable.
The moment you start, I know, but the moment you start going Morgan Gibbs or Mark Gahey, like someone mentioned the last time, you start to. I'm not saying these are not good players, but then it becomes like averagely consistently good. I want obviously some high level quality.
I disagree. Real quick. I disagree. Like, I think what we used to do when we were a top team, we would take everybody's best players. That's what we used to do. Like in our pomp, we would go to Spurs, take their best player. We would go to Newcastle, whatever, take their best Leeds, take their best players. Like it's the same concept. Like
no, tell me, bro. We done it
real quick. If you, I'm more of the opinion like I'm not back. I don't want us to be back to making 75, 80 million pounds. I don't have to do that. Like just sign good players and let the manager improve those players. Like there's in all of these clubs that we're watching, there's players that are good enough to play for the top teams. It's just an opportunity thing.
Tell me if you go
look at like it's Wolves or it's Nottingham Forest. Like no, all these players you mentioned are good players. Like I want
good players.
Can he improve the players? One, can he improve the players we currently have? And number two is can he take players that are of the like Managerial, for instance, we got him for 15 million, but he's a quality player. Like, can you find those 25 million pound, 35 million pound talent and take them and improve them and take them to the next level? Like Klopp did for his teams. You feel me? So that's what we should be looking for. Morgan Gibbs, right? If he came to the club, that's a good signing. That's a good signing.
How much do you think he's going to cost you really quickly? And I want to go back to Managerial after.
Morgan, 50 mil, like 45,
50 million, 40, 50
million. For Gibbs White?
Yeah. Like 50 mil. They bought him for 40 mil. They'll let him go for like 50.
Yeah, 40. Nah. And if they did, we would just move on. Like that's the thing is like there's multiple players. Like we should be saying, I want to like what's gonna happen is
João Pedro, that's another player.
Amorim's gonna say, I want a player of X profile to, the technical director, the head of recruitment. They're gonna go find that player for him, no matter what the price is, and say, okay, this guy, we have a list of players. These guys, this is number one, number two, number three. If we can get number one, we'll get him. If not, we'll go to number two, we'll go to number three. So yeah, man, that's what's gonna happen, bro. And we should be excited for that. Like I think there's gonna be a lot of surprising signings too. Like we're gonna be like, "Yo, are we sure about that?" But then it ends up being
before you go. I don't know why we don't shop from Spain because I've told Saeed before. Brais Mendes, Alex Baena, Barrenechea. Like there are players that when you watch them, you'll be like, "Huh, why don't we shop?" Even Danjuma. That's
I would like us
one
to
player.
shop. I would like us to shop more within the Premier League. If I'm being honest with you,
Yeah, facts.
Honestly, like
Uh,
we gotta stop this Premier League only stuff.
we
man.
we
Like,
but we haven't really
They
been
haven't been
buying.
buying from the
We
Premier
haven't
League.
really been buying within the Premier League.
Actually, outside.
We've
You
been
know,
buying a
I-
lot
yeah.
of foreign players.
Yeah.
we need
This is a perfect example. Shout out to Ramadan. Some of you are forgetting modern day football is based on profiles that fit into the system rather than individuals. Look at Madrid. Look at Madrid right now, man. All names. Bellingham on the left. This there. They don't look good. Yeah. They don't look good.
Perez is making the same mistake he made in the early 2000s.
Yeah.
I don't know why. Like they've gotten so arrogant, Real Madrid, where they're like, yeah, now they're going to add Trent who can't defend on transitions. Like it's not. You're not building a balanced side. I don't know what he's doing. You're going to add Trent. You're going to add Davies on both sides who are not good at defending. They sound good on paper, but like my God, you're going to need some high-level centre backs and a DM to make that work.
Real quick, Brian,
good luck to them.
I want to quickly touch here on Mazraoui. I was going to say, obviously, after watching today's game and thinking about the current players that we have who benefit from Amorim's system, I think we'll see probably the best of the low, and we'll see the potential that everyone says that he's got. And I also think you'll see the best out of Mazraoui as well, because these are pretty decent ball carriers that we do actually have in transition as well. Probably Mainu, you'd see the development in there as well. I'd like to think. Josh Rosierski, if he does play with Højlund up front, I do think you could see
get Zergi out of here. Get Zergi out of this team.
I think you'd see the benefits of why we got him in this team, especially with the pace in and around him.
He's not good enough.
He's
I don't know why.
I told you when we're signing him. Remember that live stream. Remember the live stream on Random Talk when I came on and then rant. All you were telling me.
I told you I always give someone from another
All
league.
you were telling me I'm doing too much. Like the day you guys start listening to me,
I remember the conversation.
I told you. You know the thing is, and I told you guys like the coach over here that I was being an apprentice for, like he told me pick any three managers and tell me their style of play, because he can sit down and watch football in South Africa. He watches a lot and he tells me pick any three managers and just study them. And I watched 10 games of Bologna, and I told you guys the players that stood out to me at that Bologna team was Luis Ferguson, Abisha. They had this other guy, though he wasn't putting up numbers, but if you actually watch football, the eye test, Ngonge or this right winger.
Yeah.
The guy like Zerxi was not one of the players I picked.
He was the one that was facilitating them. You got to remember, he was the one that was linking up play, allowing them to fight.
One play, man.
Nah, bro, he was.
I'm not. Look, to be fair, I rate Zerxi higher than I rate Højlund.
Yeah.
Right, but Zerxi, but I'm just saying both of them are not good enough for the team.
One of two things really quickly, Brian. I remember when you said this, and I told you as well. My point was any foreign player that we buy or acquire, I always give them 1 season to adjust.
Exactly. Yeah.
Secondly, as poor as you think he's been, he still had 2 assists in the last 2 games. So he's providing of some quality to the team. So he's not a complete write-off. Is a complete argument if you're trying to compare someone like Josh Rosierski to Anthony, who's regressing the team when he actually plays.
Yeah.
Josh Rosierski's having a positive, proactive impact in the team. So you can't say completely, oh no, I don't want him. He's not doing any justice. Doesn't make any sense.
To be fair, he does need to improve. I'm not going to sit here and act like he's had great performances.
Everyone needs to improve.
Everybody, he gets a clean slate. It's so early. It kind of reminds me of like, remember when Jaden came into the club, and that's the season where Ali got fired. It was like coming into a scenario like that is never a good thing. Like he just joins the club. A couple months later, the manager's getting sacked. Like clearly things have not been good. So he came into a bad situation. So I think he definitely, especially for all of our new signings, definitely deserve like, okay, this is the manager that's going to be with them for the next 18 months at a minimum. You feel me? So let's see how he looks with this manager. But I agree. I do agree. He has had some shaky moments. Like sometimes he looks a bit off the pace. He looks like he could lose a little weight. I'm gonna just be real. I'm gonna be real.
Yeah.
Like he just looks a bit off the pace, but you can still see the ability is there. You feel me? Like the ability is there. So I'm gonna give him some. I'm gonna give him some grace.
I think he just needs support. The way we play doesn't really gel well with Zirkzee.
Oh, not at all.
But the thing is that this is what happens when you sign a player from the Italian league that is much slower than the Premier League. For me, why I was like, okay, with Højlund, because Højlund has strength and pace. Like, even though in the Premier League, you can see, even with his strength and pace, players still catch up to him. It's still more difficult for him. For Xerxes, he just needs to adjust to the pace of the game. He needs to think quicker because he has the ability. Like, he has the technical ability. He looks like as if he's stuck in paste sometimes, and that's no chemistry with the players. So he's not thinking ahead. If he's in a better system, if he has more chemistry with his teammates, you will see less of those moments where he looks like as if he's frozen in place, not knowing exactly what to do when he has the ball. So I don't think he's gonna be like a wall beater for us, but I think it's too soon to discard him as a player.
You know who Xerxes reminds me of in this team?
Yeah.
Donny van de Beek. No one would tell me Van de Beek is not a baller, right? But one thing, and tell me, you play basketball, and one thing, I don't play basketball, but I know someone who coaches basketball. Obviously, not like in the NBA or anything, but one thing he always tells his players is like implementation, and that could carry over into football too. Yeah, you may not be the best, but there's a certain level that you implement yourself that you would actually make a difference. Xerxes doesn't implement himself. It was the same problem with Martial, and believe it or not, it was the same problem with Sancho. You're not implementing yourself enough.
You know what it is, though? You know what it is, though?
So he's a system player. Is that what you're saying?
I wouldn't even call him a system player because why? Because Xerxes actually has the ability to change a game. But again, you're not implementing yourself enough to even change any game. I don't know if you guys get where I'm coming from.
That's an unfair comment because if you've been a United fan as long as you have been, yeah, you remember players like Vidic, Patrice Evra when they first came. Like if we had this attitude of when these lot first came, we would have written them off straight away.
Vidic and Evra were nothing as close as this shit. Stop it!
You can't just do that because right now it's within the mix and it isn't a forehead of like.
So you go to something like a decade ago to
let me give you an example.
Is not what football was now.
Let me give a good example. I think for me, the way I look at it with Xerxes is that we have players on a similar length here to each other. I think that's where it comes down to. Right now, we have players that want to do this over here. You got a ball grenade in, launch it in Bruno. You've got Rashford who's playing on the right hand side that shouldn't be playing on the right hand side, let's be honest. You've got Garnacho on the left hand side doesn't want to pass the ball. You've got such a mismatch of player profiles in this team, yeah. It's scary. Once you have the connections, you see today there was a connection, they're not all flashing.
So the team around Xerxes?
No, I'm not saying build a team around Xerxes, but what I'm saying is you have a team that is cohesive. Like we are cohesive as a team. That's what I'm saying. You believe that this team is cohesive? Yes or no, Ledu? You believe that?
Definitely not. But
that's what I'm saying. So how can you then judge a player in a team that is so broken?
If we got Ivan Toney, do you think we would have been where we are?
Yeah, probably. But here's real quick. I think it's especially for these new players. The reason I can judge a player like Bruno or Rashford is because I've seen them under multiple managers. I've seen them do the same thing under multiple managers. This, like Xerxes, Mazraoui, you feel me? Like these players haven't had ample, like they've only been here for 3 months. Like, and in that 3 months, we've had our probably the worst 3 months in Premier League history. Let's be real. Like we were in 14th place when the manager got sacked. So like that's just an anomaly of bad, chaotic within all that stuff. You feel me? So Xerxes, I think what Saeed's trying to say is like if we actually have a structure, like there's options for him in terms of in possession. We can pass it. He can pass to different people. Like the way it currently was, we're playing chaos football. Like I don't think a player like that can thrive when there's no structure. So I do low-key think he's a system player. I do agree that we probably do need another striker though. I think we need a striker. Yes. I agree. We need a striker of a higher quality, but I also think that Xerxes can be a valuable piece of the squad if everything is. I
think he plays as one of the 10s in Amorim's system.
No, exactly.
I don't think he plays as a striker.
He would
you see the last game he played, Jay? You see that flick that Bruno done, and he put somebody 1-on-1.
Yeah.
I believe like Joshua Zerski in that role, yeah. Once there's kind of fluidity within our front line, where there's an actual connection, like a chemistry, an ideology of how we want to go forward, I feel like he would thrive in there because I feel like he's a neat, tidy player where he can do the little flicks, the 1-2s, the interlink, and putting people in those type of positions. Like I said, when we got him, I wasn't expecting an Ivan Toney or a Lewandowski, someone that's going to be banging in goals. I said that's not the type of player that he is. So anyone that's getting mad, I've consistently said this. Anyone getting mad is you only got yourself to blame. You should have gone and watched you should have gone and seen what you bought before you purchased it, bro. So I think you're putting false pretenses and hopes on the wrong person. I'm not saying he's been up to standard. No, of course he's been poor. He's got time. He's got way more waves to improve on. But I think to write him off after 3 months is just ludicrous. Like
I wrote him off before we bought him. I'm different. I didn't even.
And that's fair. And that's fair. People done it to Mason Mount as well, and that's fair. Like I hear it, but to me personally, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. So.
Do you think Mason Mount has a place in his team, though? I think he should be sold.
Get him out.
If
Cancel his contract.
You never know, bro. You never know.
If he could stay fit, one, he's got an engine. Two, he's good at carrying the ball. So I would think he'd
carrying what ball?
All right.
He's good at water carrying and injury carrying, not the ball. Behave yourself, man. What do you mean?
If that's what going to disrespect.
Carry what ball?
You know what it is?
What ball have you seen this man carry?
We can all banter a man, but let's remember he had a career before he came to United. He's not completely washed. Let's not do that. If he could stay fit, that's
Basic man has been washed.
He's not washed.
Behave yourself. Like what do you mean carrying the ball? Now I'm convinced you don't even watch football as trailer. Mason Mount carry the ball. Really?
What does Ericsson do? What do we need Ericsson to do?
Ericsson doesn't even carry. What do you know what ball carrying is?
Brian, you can get the argument. What does Ericsson do in Erik ten Hag's system, or what he wanted him in the squad to do? Was to carry the ball, right?
No.
You see why I said this guy doesn't watch football?
So Ericsson's role wasn't to get the ball from the defense and interlink it with the attack. They're telling him that's what we.
I mean, yeah, but not via carrying the ball.
I'm obviously over hyperbole my point just to make my point, but I'm using it as an example. Was Ericsson's role or part of his role not to do that? Yes or no?
No, I don't think that was his. I don't think that was his role. No,
Ericsson can't carry the ball.
Ericsson can't carry the ball, but Ericsson's still a proper player, but he's not a ball carrier.
Nah, he's not ball carrier.
I'm not saying he can carry the ball where he's got the legs to do. I'm saying in Erik ten Hag's system, when we used him on the pitch when he was in the team, what did we use him for? Because
not to carry.
Let me ask you a question. Estrella, was Perlo a ball carrier?
What are we doing here?
Was Perlo a ball carrier? Yes or no?
No, he wasn't. No, he wasn't.
So, and you're telling me Ericsson is a ball carrier?
I'm not saying he's a ball carrier. I'm saying in Erik ten Hag's system, what do we
use? I partially get what he's trying to say, but like Erik ten Hag wants ball carriers. He wants ball carriers in the system. Yeah, go ahead.
I just finish my point before you go on to me. Yeah, I was saying in Erik ten Hag's system, out of the midfielders that we had at the time, I'm not saying that's why I associate Ericsson with being a ball carrier. But in the moment with Erik ten Hag, we used him in transition of getting the ball from the back, from deep, to try and transition it forward. We got Mason Mount in the summer as an alternative option to Ericsson. That's what we was told anyway. So I'm saying if that was the case in this system now, it makes feasible sense for Mason Mount to do well in Amorim's system. That's all I'll say.
Mount's ball carrying is not to a high level.
Of course,
he had the energy. He's more like a Gallagher. He has the energy to have carried the ball and whatnot, but like he's not someone that's going to like what. Look at what Morgan Rogers this season picks the ball up, beats 3-4 Arsenal players. Yeah, Mount's not going to do that.
Mount's not doing that.
I know I don't rate Cunha, but what Cunha does,
Mount looked his best when he was in the 3-4-3 system under Tuchel. Like that's where to be fair, that's where he looked at his best. I had time for Mason Mount because I think for Chelsea, that Champions League run they made, he was an important player. So I had a bit more. I had time
really well against Real Madrid as well.
Yeah, he played exactly. I always remember that those two games against Real Madrid. He played really, really well. But he's never been able to he hasn't been able to replicate that since Thomas Tuchel left. You feel me? So and he's injured. So it's just like I want to give everyone I do want to give everyone a clean slate, but it's just like
physically
certain players, it's like, bro, I can't even like he hasn't strung 5 games together in his time.
I hear it.
Like,
tell me, me personally, I wouldn't see another game. I'll get rid of him, but because he's here and everyone's gonna get a fresh.
That he's here. Everyone's listening.
Everyone should not. No.
I'm not saying not everyone should. Not everyone should. Brian, I'm just saying if they are going to, and if he could stay fit, I could see a role for him in the team. And again, if you let me finish, please. I'm not saying again just to get my point because I feel like it's been diluted and everyone's got me that mistaken. I'm not saying Mason Mount should be a ball carrier. I'm just saying I feel like he could do a job or in the system as that because he's got the attributes of being an engine and he's good on the ball. And my thing is the way you guys are talking about we needing them type of players to be starting for United. I'm not talking about Mason Mount to be a starter. I'm just talking about if he could be fit, a rotational player to do that. Because fundamentally, the players that we want to be in the starting 11, we're not going to get all starting 11 players being those players. They ain't going to be able to do everything. You're going to have rotational players in the mix, and that's what I was talking of. But sorry, you can continue.
Yeah,
on that.
the problem I have with that is that with Chelsea where they spend so much money and they made a lot of mistakes, right? They had to spend even more money to fix those mistakes. Mason Mount is one of those guys where we're going to have to spend money to fix that mistake. I don't think he's salvageable because he's wearing the number 7. He's just not of that quality. Like we've compounded on the problem of putting him at this level of what he should do for us when he's really here. Like you're saying, he should be a bit pack player for us.
Yeah, squad player.
He can't. He can't. We signed him for a different reason. We signed him to be a mainstay in the team because that's what Ten Hag wanted. Now he's going to have to ride the bench. But then I'd rather have a youth player that's way more talented in that position because we do have those players in our youth team. Shea Lacey and so many other players would actually thrive in this 3-4-3 system. So for me, sell him. Like just make a statement. You've been a flop. You've not played. You've been injured. Out the team. That's why I see it.
Leave the injury part alone. He's just not good enough. Leave the injury out.
Fair enough, he's not good enough, and I'm not trying to gaslight nobody. How much do you think we're going to get for Mason Mount?
Cancel his contract. We're not going to get nothing for him.
It really doesn't matter, bro. It really doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Like I think there's certain like I think the best businessmen realize when they make a mistake, and they like when you realize you make a mistake, you just you cut your losses. Like I made a mistake. I'm not worried about that. You cut your losses. You move on to the next thing. Like
how many mistakes are they going to have to fix in the summer? Because I think
obviously they're not going to fix everything in one summer. No one's claiming that. But if we can replicate the summer we had this past summer, that's a good thing. Like just keep bringing in good players. Keep bringing in over time. If you have a good manager and you just keep bringing in good players every. Maybe 1 player in January, 2 players in January, 4 players in 4 or 5 players in the summer. You keep doing that over and over. There's going to be mistakes. But if you hit on 3 out of 4 or 4 out of 5, like over time, your squad will just. It doesn't take 3 or 4 years, bro. Like it really doesn't. Yeah. I think he has to improve. He has to improve the players he currently has. So we've been we have a lot of players playing way underneath their potential. Get them playing above that. And then adding players that they don't have to be 80 million pound signings. They don't have to be 75 million pound signings. Just get good players. We're seeing what he's doing. We're seeing what he's doing with average players. Like, listen, that Sporting team, there's not a lot of good players, bro. I'm gonna be real. Like, I was watching today. Real quick. Let me finish. There's only a couple good players. You feel me? So if you can just get the players we have way better players than they do. So just improve those players. Slowly, players,
and this is what Ten Hag didn't understand.
Exactly.
Right? Yes. Because he looked at his team and was like, "My team, and I have a lot of good players there. You didn't.
No.
He like in that Sporting team, I think maybe 2-3 players would make it at Premier League level to like a high world class level. Maybe 2, really 1 with Gyökeres. Yeah. The rest. Hodgman, I like the Danish midfielder, but like I
don't rate him.
I think he's a little bit too stiff for the Premier League.
Yeah, I don't rate
him. That's the only thing I would say. But if he played anywhere else in Europe, you'd be okay.
He'd be okay. Yeah.
So that's the thing you need to look at, and I think Amorim is smart enough to recognize that. Okay, I need players, and I this is why part of the reason I actually like that we have Dan Ashworth as our director of football, because he will buy within the Premier League. This is what he does. He will buy within the Premier League. He was doing that at Newcastle. He will buy within the Premier League. If there's really an exceptional talent outside of it, like he wasn't the one that bought the Swedish striker that they have, but that's the philosophy we should go for.
Brian,
only go for really exceptional players outside of the Premier League.
Brian, I have a question for you. Let me just ask the question, and I'll let you go. You've mentioned, we need to buy from the Premier League. Who in that 8 position? Because I think Casemiro should play anyway. Who in that number 8 position do you think we can get from the Premier League that will do it as good as players that I can think of right off the top of my head
Number
outside
8.
the Premier
It
League.
won't be cheap. There's
Who?
two options. It won't be
Did you say
cheap.
8, did you say?
There's two options,
Yeah,
right?
the eight,
Those two central midfield positions. Number
Yeah.
one option, right? If money wasn't an object, I will go for the other Bruno at Newcastle. I think he
Bruno
will.
Guimaraes.
No, he's an MMA fighter, man. Get
No.
that guy out of here.
No.
Get
No.
that guy.
In terms of performing
That guy's an MMA
to the level that we need, he does everything in midfield. He defends, he attacks, he's able to carry the ball, he does everything. He's an all-rounder. So those 8 positions, you need players that can do everything. The other outside the Premier League, I would look at Edson Alvarez from Atalanta. That's the other player I would look at.
Shout out to Ricardo, by the way.
But in terms of midfielders, there's very few and far between. You don't need specialists. Amorim doesn't need specialists. He needs all-rounders.
Exactly.
That's why I would go to City and try and get Nunes out of City, if you could.
Okay.
That's another player I'll try and get.
Thank you. You mention. You know what? I thought you were going to mention Nunes to start. I don't know where you got Bruno Guimaraes from. I don't know how you go from Nunes to. I don't know how you go from Bruno Guimaraes to.
But there are two positions in that midfield. There are two.
I said no. So I asked you. I said I need Casemiro to start. If we already have Casemiro, what are we doing with Bruno?
I don't need Casemiro to start.
For me, Casemiro has to start. And you know what? I don't know how I want to do it. I don't care if we go to PSG and do juju on them, but get Vitinha out of PSG. I don't care how you do it.
No. Did you watch him against Arsenal? Did you watch him against Arsenal?
Bro, because he had one bad game doesn't mean
no, because of one bad game. Because
it's going to be a lot of money, man. A lot of money.
I don't give a shit, man.
Physically, what we need, he's not going to be able to provide that in the Premier League. He's going to get run through. Not pause. But seriously, we need a different kind of midfielder, in my opinion.
Right, let me finish my point really quick.
We might as well get Angel Gomez if we want to get Vitinha.
Yeah,
similar profile.
Yeah.
We got a comment from Amorim, by the way. We just got a comment from Amorim. He says here, don't take anything from this. We cannot transport one reality to another. Man United cannot play the way we play, and we'll have
this
to.
This is what I hate to hear. This is exactly what I hate to hear. I'm telling you, like if this is the energy he's bringing to United, cancel his contract already because this is what Ten Hag did. I'm saying this is exactly what Ten Hag did. Like these managers need to stop. This is why, even though I don't rate Ange highly,
relax, man.
Ange literally said, "I will stick to my laws." Like managers need to stop doing this bullshit, man. This is what made you as a manager, and you think because you're coming to Manchester United, or you have
Nedu. We already talked about this. We already talked about this. You can't play the same way Sporting do because the way Sporting play in their league, they play a lot of teams that are weak. They play a lot of weak teams. So yes, you will have to adapt in some way in the Premier League. It's different from saying it's different from saying I can't play whatever than what Ten Hag says. It's a completely different thing.
I think
we are better than most teams in Premier League. So why can't he implement?
He's not saying. Sorry, I just wanted to address this. He's not saying that he's not going to play attacking football. That he's not going to play possession-based football. Ten Hag literally said, "I want us to be the best transition team in the Premier League." It's a completely different thing.
Different, yeah, exactly.
The idea, people are praising Ange for sticking to his principles. Great, fantastic, but he's never going to win the Premier League. He's just never going to win the Premier League because he's not able to adjust. The reason why they beat Manchester City today is because he adjusted his tactics at halftime. He's going to need to adapt. Pep adjusted to the Premier League. When Pep came into the Premier League, what did he do? The first season.
But listen to what you're saying. Adjusting in a specific game that you know is going to be tougher is different from we're not going to be able to play the way Sporting.
It's the whole system.
Adaptation. Wait, real quick. Adaptation does not imply you're tearing everything down and switching things to accommodate. Everybody adapt. Like he's going to play a 3-4-3, but there's going to be things that are going to change. That's just a fact. Like I wouldn't be too afraid of the word adaptation because every single manager has to adapt, right?
He has to adapt to the Premier League.
Listen, the league is a copycat league. Let's be real. Like the league is a copycat league. People will play. Everyone plays a high line now. Remember, like
how did Pep adapt to this league?
especially a new
How did
system.
Pep adapt to this
How
league?
did Pep adapt?
First of all,
started playing a back
his fullbacks then was using it in La Liga a lot, where they were bombing forward crazy. He changed that. He started playing center backs and the fullback positions to protect against transitions. He started bringing his center backs, his fullbacks to come on the inside to protect against transitions. Then everybody started copying Pep.
Facts.
Oh, let's bring our fullbacks
Pep
on the
went
inside.
to Bayern before he came to Man City. He had changed that forward bumping fullback at Bayern. He was the person who inverted Lam. You guys forget this.
So
He
But
was the one who started-
Lam
so
is
he
a-
brought
Lam
it
is a
into Man
different
City and
profile.
stuck with it.
Lam is a different profile of player to what he was using in the
Exactly.
positions
So
as
he
fullback.
bought better players and then
But
put them
not just
in that
better, not just
system.
better, a different profile.
different
A
profile.
different profile of player to be able to protect against transitions. City were getting torn apart in transitions in the first season under Pep. There are some
So
really
he
big
bought
games where
better
they go.
players to fit
It's
to
not. It's
that.
not just better.
He
You need to.
also- you know what
He
he's trying
bought
to tell you
players
as well?
within the Premier League. He bought they got Stones from Everton. They got Walker from Tottenham. This is what I'm talking about. You buy
He
within
wasn't
the
even
Premier
the one that
League.
signed Stones.
Guys. You know, Nedu, you need to chill, you know why? Because he didn't say, I'm not going to play the sporting way. He just goes, I need to adapt. That's all he said.
That's all he said.
That's all he said. He didn't say, he said specifically, Ten Hag, I'm not going to play the Ajax way. That's not going to happen.
It's
Yeah.
PTSD side.
It's
PTSD.
for you.
I'm
You want to play
PTSD.
Nedu, do you want to play transit like today? He played transition football. Do you want us to do that every week? Like we're
Not every week. Look, but that's what I'm saying. But okay, this is what I got from what he said. I feel like because Ten Hag did the same thing. I feel like he'll come now and then every single team he plays in the Premier League, he's thinking, oh, I got to be more defensive. I don't want that.
That's not what he said. That's not what he said, though.
That's what I got from him, and I'm sorry. I'm sorry if I misread it. I apologize.
It's fine. I think. Remember when Ten Hag came in, he said, "I want to play the Man United attacking football." Right? He said a lot of these things when he first came into the club, right? And then things went left, and then he completely just reverted to very negative football. You feel me? So that's not adapting. That's playing. That's trying to save your job. You feel me? Like completely tearing down everything you believed in is not adapting. That's not adapting. That's just a complete change of philosophy. Like what he's saying is, I'm gonna this 3-4-3 I play. I'm gonna assess the players I have and adapt. Right? I'm gonna adapt to what I currently have, and then as we buy more players and things like that, we're gonna get players that play the way I want to play.
Okay, I'll give you guys that. I misread the whole thing because look, when I started reading it, I'm like, this just reminds me of Ten Hag, and I would lose my shit if this guy comes and then he's like just doing.
No, he won't.
Like, Nedu. Let me tell y'all. He's not going to do that. Okay, he's not Ten Hag. Okay?
I hope
you guys can breathe. Just
breathe, relax.
Relax.
Calma.
Okay, it's not Ten Hag. Okay.
Yo, I had a meltdown on side stream because of Ten Hag. Like this guy messed my head up. I hate it to the point where I'm supporting a rival team.
Yeah,
just like, do you know how bad that is?
He's not you're not the only one, because I see it on Twitter. Everybody's like, this guy is the second coming of Ten Hag, and I'm like, he's nothing like Ten Hag, guy. He's just not. Like,
I pray to
they
God.
are not similar at all. They're just they are so far on the different spectrums of the way they see coaching is incredible.
People keep
like,
on
they're not the same.
People keep on calling Eric Ten Hag this, like, people keep on calling Eric Ten Hag this, like, oh, you know, he was a young manager when he came. It's like, he's not young though. Like, he's older than Pep. Like Eric Ten Hag is older than Pep. Why do people keep on saying, oh yeah, it's the same thing as Ruben Amorim's not even 40. Like he's not even 40 years old. It's a stark difference. Ajax was comfortably the best team. Ajax was comfortably the best team in the Dutch league, whereas Sporting is like Atletico Madrid of Portugal. You feel me? Them winning league titles is not supposed to be.
They're not even there. Atletico Madrid. They don't even have money. They can't buy.
And they don't have money. And they don't have money. So it's like they're Atletico Madrid with not a lot of money. Like that's what they are. So
Facts.
What he's accomplished in comparison to what Ten Hag accomplished is like night and day, bro.
Night and day, bro.
Hey, tell me, touch
This
on
idiot says Mount was player of the season 2 years. Where did Chelsea finish in those 2 years? Y'all don't be talking stupid shit. Like,
one second. Fraser D says you talk down a man who's Chelsea played the season for 2 years and he has just been unlucky with injuries and not a lot of opportunity. But just to let you know, are you a United fan, Fraser D, or are you a Chelsea fan? And let me know what you are.
Yes,
you're probably a United fan then, because he said this as well.
Okay. No one is saying Mount didn't. Sorry, go ahead.
Very quickly, I'm gonna say, when we're going back to the money stuff, I was trying to talk about it beforehand. You lot were saying buy 40 million pound players here and there,
yeah.
But we've just acquired Josh Wazowski for around that similar price. Those are the kind of like profiles, not necessarily the player that we wanted, but the brackets that we wanted to go for. And already people are turning on him. So when I was talking about not wanting to get certain players, it's not because I don't want to get cheap players. I'm not saying we should buy expensive people. But the moment you go in for those 30, 40 million pound steals or gems, if they don't work out in the first couple of months, like how he's not working out, what's to stop happening? What they're doing to Josh Wazowski now?
Respectfully, if a club is worrying about how fans are perceiving players after a few months and trying to react off that, they're not thinking correctly. No top director of football, no technical director should ever be thinking like, what do the fans think about this player right now? Like, no. Like,
I'm not saying that.
No, but real quick, I'm saying that like there's too many examples of players that people have signed in that bracket that have done tremendously well. So maybe Xerxes hasn't hit the ground running right now. That's cool. It doesn't honestly, it should not matter to them. The whole goal should be we have profiles of players. We believe these people fit this profile, and if they're at the right price, we buy them. So like if they're worried like, oh, fans are getting mad after a couple of months of Xerxes not hitting, you can't worry about that. You have to worry about your manager. You feel me? And is that manager improving the players? That's the only thing that they should be really, really. Obviously, you're gonna get signings wrong. Like that, if we all think we're gonna go bat 1,000, you feel me, on signings, it's just not gonna happen. You feel me? So you have to be thinking like, let's just get good players in here and back the manager that you signed. You have to trust that manager can. Yeah.
But to negate that, that's why I agree with Brian when I say that we should buy some Premier League players just so because
I agree.
Easier. So
I agree.
But that's what I'm saying. The 30-40 million pound players that you think you're gonna get when you're buying Premier League players, it's not really gonna be that price. So that's why I say if that's I don't see that.
Who can we buy from the Premier? We've already spoken about
Amorim, the left back from Wolves would be an improvement straight away.
Who?
The left back from Wolves.
Eight Nuri.
Oh man, we're jokes. Jesus Christ, man.
That's not a joke. He'll be an improvement straight away.
Jesus Christ.
Technically, he's very, very good. But
he's a very good player.
I just wonder if he's defensively is shocking.
We are jokes if you think Nuri is going to improve this thing.
No, he's very good technically, but defensively he's shocking.
Just to add context, guys, he also said this as well. He also said this. He goes, I will start in a new club. We need to play these teams in a different way. We cannot defend like this. So I have to improve as a coach. But I'm very happy. It was a great night. So
a lot more context. A lot
more context to this. You see what I mean? So he's basically saying, sometimes I can play like this, sometimes I can't play like this. So that's defend.
He was actually chastising us. He was saying we didn't defend well. I actually respect that. Like
you need to listen to his press conferences because from what I've watched with him, he doesn't say stupid shit. He just doesn't. Like he's very intelligent speaker. Like, guys, just get Ten Hag out of your head, please. I beg you.
I'm willing to listen to you because we were right about him from the beginning, right? So I'm willing to listen to you. Once I started reading that first message, what I just remembered was that idiot saying the same thing. So I'm
like, Sunday I will start a new journey at a new club. We need to play these teams different. Oh, I think I've read this already. I talked about Enquiries, which we're going to discuss right now in a minute. He goes, it'll be fun. I am ready for the challenge. He goes, when I arrive in the Premier League, it's a different world. It's a different pressure. Facts, absolutely.
He's right about that.
And he says as well, I think obviously that's there. I can't really do that. He goes, what I can tell you is that doesn't mean in particular taken away from this. We cannot transport yet. I think we read that already. Was this my best moment at Sporting? No, the best moment was when we lost 5-0 here against City. And at the end of the fans applauded us off the pitch. They knew we were on the right path. You know what?
Mhm.
That's a good point, because boy,
That's crazy.
that's crazy.
Imagine your fans clapping you up after you got slapped.
No, he
I
probably
wa-
played well in the game, though. He still
I was
probably
going to say
played good football,
again. People were talking about the fact that actually you mentioned that the way they play like was because he was leaving, they played a little bit more open.
Wow.
This is just how he. This is how he. This is just how he plays.
No. I was saying that if they did play more open, you could use it as a reason as to why. I'm not saying that's why. I'm saying he could normally play like this anyway, but I'm saying that could be a negation as to why they were so expansive. And I also wanted to quickly say as well, like in relation to him joining our club now, what's everyone's common consensus now? Like, what's everyone thinking? Like moving forward for the next after the next international break, what's everyone thinking we're going to look like?
You know that Thanos team where that like popular gif where he goes and sits down and says I can rest. That's how I feel as a Manchester United fan. This is the first manager where I'm like, I don't have to be like overly like analyzing every single thing.
Don't drop the ball, Brian.
No, I'm like 10 years of 10 years of just stress.
I don't care if he's Jesus Christ's
understand what I mean. Understand what I mean. I haven't liked any of our previous appointments. Ten Hag was like a toss-up between Poch and him. Both were like, whatever. So for me, this is someone I've actually wanted. It's like signing your one of your favorite players. It reminds me of when we signed Robin Van Persie. I'm not saying we're going to win Premier League or anything, but you just like you have a certain feeling. Like when we signed Van Persie, there was a way I felt at the time where I was like, I can see this working. With Amorim, I'm not saying we're going to win the Premier League. I'm just saying I don't see us being as shit as we've been. Extraneously shit. Like like where we. I'm not saying we're not going to lose. We're going to lose games. We're going to get some really crazy results. But if we give this guy time, and I think I believe Ineos will give him the tools, he will cook.
Yeah.
He will cook.
To Estrella, to your point, I think I'm on the wave where like I'm excited, but it's like cautious. It's like cautious optimism.
You have to be though. You have to be.
Yeah. At the end of the day, it's like he clearly. I thought we had ran out of types of managers. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Like, oh, we got the manager who won a lot of trophies. We got the
young one, the aspiring, the legend,
quote unquote young one. But Ali and Ten Hag were really young. We got the former player. I thought we had, but this is actually this is the first time we have like a coach, quote unquote, and a prodigy. Like he really is a prodigy. Like I'm being like, there's no other way to put it. Like he is a managerial prodigy. Like he's the next stop. Yeah, we've never had a young manager like a 30-something-year-old. Like Brighton's manager, he's a young prodigy. He is.
Yeah,
like
Fabian, I love Fabian.
He's 31 years old and he's doing a great job.
Well, Saeed, keep Rant's comment. I want to address it, please.
Which one?
Yeah, we have
this one here.
No. The one that you just took off. Like I even forgot.
Oh, this one here.
Yeah.
We got to let him.
Just don't forget this guy.
Screenshot.
You guys don't listen to this guy. This guy sold Ten Heisenberg.
We live and learn, innit? We live and learn.
No, but he's not learning. Rant is not learning.
Someone's head. Trust me. Screenshot this comment.
And another comment he said is like, we Chelsea playing with I knew he's not going to improve this team. The only position I knew he can play in an Amorim system is one of the wide number 10s.
Let's talk about one player in particular, that everyone wants to talk about. Is Victor Gyökeres, Like he's a player that I said for me at the start, I was like, yo, guys, we need to think about the wingers, innit? I think they're more important because we've got two strikers available, right? Like, what do you think in terms of
our winning?
what are you not saying?
In your last show, Saeed, I told you if you have the opportunity to sign one of the best strikers in the world, you do it. There's no reason, and I will be furious if Ineos let this slip. You go sign Gyökeres right now. Like get it done. As you're picking up Amorim, from the guys. No. There are Ajax players that we didn't sign that are very good. Like someone like Kudus, for example.
Facts.
At the end of the day, this guy is a monster in front of goal.
Nah.
I was one of the few people that when Haaland was doing his thing at Salzburg, I was like, we should sign this guy. Let's get this guy in. And people laughed at it.
Doing well at Coventry as well.
People laughed at it. But go get this guy now. Højlund, I like Højlund too, but he's young. He's 21. Gyökeres is 27, and he's a different profile to Højlund. Let's get that clear. They're not the same profile. They have some similarities, but they're different. They're different.
Brian, give me grace. Get that Corey Gold Booker T on the stream, man. Why is he in the chat? Get Corey Gold Booker T on the stream.
You're crazy.
Come on, talk to me. This guy selling Ten Heisenberg shirts, and now he's doing the same thing for Amorim.
Nobody can predict everything 100%.
No, exactly, bro.
We're just fans, you know.
Yeah,
we're just fans.
Right. Real quick. I think to your listen. I like him as a player. I think 65 goals and 67 appearances. No matter what league you're in, that is.
Bro.
I'm not a GA merchant. You know this. I'm not a GA merchant, but like 65 and 67 is insane. Like that's crazy, man. And I do believe we have players in behind, like in those like number 10 roles or whatever that can feed him. You feel me? Eriksson, Ahmad, Xerxes, even Bruno. I don't know if Bruno can do a job, we'll see. I don't think so, but we'll see. You feel me? So yeah, no. Listen, we do need a top striker. We do. I listen. I like Xerxes. I'm not Højlund's biggest fan, but we do need better than them.
My thing is, Brian as well. The reason why I'm saying no to him, it's not because I don't rate him. I think he's good, and I'm not going to base off tonight him scoring a hat trick as to the penultimate decision as to I want him now.
No, it wasn't not this hat trick though.
Of course. My thing is one of two things. One is added pressure into the manager if he comes and he's not shooting straight away. He's brought in another player from a league that he knows. And two is the money that Sporting are going to want for him, I think, is not justification where I think there's other alternative options you could potentially get for the price that they're gonna ask for him. If they ask for a reasonable price, I'll just snatch your hand at it. But I already know, especially off basis of tonight and the projection for the rest of the season, how it's looking for him, excess of 70 million plus for him, and I think that's too much.
No, bro, I'm telling you now,
we need to sell. We need to sell some players to offset that cost.
Why can't Højlund be that? Why can't Højlund be that? You lot don't believe in Højlund?
What you say?
Why can't Højlund to be the next Gyökeres?
Here's the problem, Saeed. He's 21 years old.
Yeah.
And when we signed him to be a project where we're going to work on him. And I think Højlund will keep getting better and better. But the problem is, if you're coming into the league and this is Manchester United, you need a senior striker. Part of the reason why Hansi Flick is doing so well at Barcelona is because Lewandowski is a senior striker and he has that experience. Part of the reason why Real Madrid are struggling, they don't have that senior striker.
Yep.
You know? So no matter how good your project is, you need that person that's going to do that. Liverpool get away with it because they have Mo Salah. We don't have anybody.
Nope.
None of our forward players are experienced.
We don't have one top player. We don't have one top player as a forward. You know what I mean? Like we don't have one. All of them are just guys. Let's just keep it. Let's just be real. Like Højlund, will he get to a level? Maybe, but there's never like if like I think Nedu said Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is just a guy, right? If he was playing right now, he'd be by far our best striker, and he was our fourth striker back in the day. So it's like I'm not even saying we need to sign Harry Kane, but we need to get to a point where it's like we have a proper striker, like we know this guy's gonna get goals. Maybe he's okay, we laugh at Lukaku, right? Lukaku used to score goals, bro. Like he used to score goals. We didn't like him. We didn't like all of his attributes, but at least he was bagging goals. Like,
tell me, I agree with you what you want in terms of the goals, but in terms of stylistic, in terms of we'll just accept him on who will give us goals. No, I think that then also incorporates of you like lowering standards and having these players or a mixed match. They just do a job.
No, he's not just doing a job. It would. I mean, first of all, we know he would fit because this.
No. I'm not talking about the Sporting Lisbon striker. I'm just talking about what you just said now. I'm just talking when you made the comparison. When you made the comparison to Lukaku.
No, I'm just saying like we need to get to a certain standard. Like, listen, we can laugh at Lukaku all we want. He's won multiple league titles, bad goals everywhere, pretty much everywhere he's been. Like, I'm just using him as an example of we need that level. Like, we need somebody who is successful and has done things. You feel me? Like, who has some form of resume. Like, Højlund has no resume. Xerxes has no resume. Like, none of them. Like,
I don't look at Hoyland that's his fault because I'm not under the illusion. I remember that summer they said we're gonna get a seasoned striker with Hoyland.
Yeah,
under the
I
20s
hear
to
that.
do the project.
And Zexi wasn't that.
And it was obviously Xerxes wasn't that, and he got thrown in the deep end, and Xerxes was a whole year later as well.
So that's fine. So we need another striker. That's all I'm saying.
Course.
We don't just need another striker. We need to get Zexi and Hoyland out of this team as well.
Why?
We don't need to
because
do
they're
that.
rubbish. Like, get them out of the
They're gonna keep
team.
them until the summer minimum.
Oh.
Everyone's on trial, bro. So let's
No.
see.
Say,
It's Harry Maguire on top.
maybe no. Harry Maguire should leave instantly.
I'm hearing he wants to stay and fight for contract extension though.
He should get the frick out of this team, man.
My guy's been
Fight for what extension? The only extension he needs is his flight extension to a different continent. Like, I need this guy out of my
He's
team.
not. I don't know if he thinks Woodward is still in charge.
No, I'm
He's
telling you.
He's not getting that extension. First of all, he's on 200K. The way Ineos are moving, they need that money off the books. It is not happening. It is not happening. He's gone, unfortunately for him. So we need to not be afraid of smashing a few eggs. Like someone, like people.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but this fan base kills me. Like, not you guys, but like the people on Twitter who continue. Rashford does one thing in a game. Bruno will do one thing in a game, and everybody's like, you see. This is why they're the best thing since sliced bread. And I'm like,
and Bruno, they need to be thrown into a garbage truck.
Guys,
like,
this Rance just said it. Rashford is supposed to be our Mo Salah. He is not anywhere near that level, and it's not completely his fault because Manchester United fans keep trying to put him at that level as our difference maker. He's not. We should be cashing in on him this summer. Bruno, he's 30 years old. We can't build with him. We can't build with Bruno. These are the players you sell to finance buying Kvaratskhelia and Gyökeres. But this fan base will never let us want to have progress in our lives because they're obsessed with these two guys. I don't know why.
It's not them. Brian, it's not even just them two guys. I was going to ask you this as well. Finish my point and say, who do you think will be the sacrificial lamb moving forward? But I was going to say, even like Scott McTominay, Fred, when we let them go, and they start doing reasons.
No, we shouldn't have let Fred go. We shouldn't have let Fred go.
All right, cool, that's one thing. But when we let these players go, and they start reasonably doing well for their respective clubs, all of a sudden it's, we could have used them this weekend when we lost against Brighton, or we shouldn't have let them go. I'm like, bro, they're not good enough for our club. I'm not saying they're crap players. Like I said, Rashford, I'm saying he's washed, and that's out of anger and emotion when I'm watching him for my club. Yeah. But outside of this, if he was to go to an Aston Villa, Newcastle, maybe even a Chelsea and go somewhere else and do well, no problems. Same thing as Jadon Sancho, no problems. So I don't know why everyone has this attachment like, Rashford, Bruno, they're attached to the club. They're separate. They're bloody employees. They're employees who can be replaced. And no one needs to die or cry or hold a funeral. Like I said, best thing is let Rashford go to Chelsea and he can go and stop knife crime. I've said it already. Yeah. Bro, I don't know everyone's laughing. It's serious.
That's wild. But you know what it is, yeah? Let's see what this manager can do with the group of players in it, and then we can judge it in the summer.
You know what it is, Saeed? I just don't, for these particular guys, I don't see it. Yeah. I've been calling it for a long time. People are like, well, Bruno and Rashford are going to cook in this 3-4-3 system. I'm like, guys, I don't see it. It's not going to happen.
Bruno and Rashford can cook what exactly?
It's not going to happen.
Exactly.
This is a test for Ineos. If they're going to this summer and they're not like, okay, we need to finance getting players to get Amorim's system up and running as quickly as possible, and you're not selling the two most sellable assets in our team, I
think they will. Brian,
I'll be so disappointed. It makes zero sense.
Maybe they've got a plan. Maybe there's a plan.
Remember before we got this manager now, remember when we all had the Mandem talk and everyone was losing their plot and me and Brian were saying, let's get this manager. And I was like, what's to stop them from getting them if they've done this for Lennon Euro? They've now done it again and got the manager that we wanted. What's to stop them again from making the right decision for? That's why I said, when you lot told me at the start when they were appointed, back them, I'm backing them now. So pause. So let's just see what they do. Like I said, let's just see what they do. That's why I said I'm not panicking really too much. They've got the manager in. I would have wanted them to start a bit earlier, but they've got the manager in now. Let's see what happens and what's to come.
Yeah, no, I think for me, like I've made up my mind about. It's come to a point with certain players. It's like I do want to give most players a fresh start, but it's like if the manager is playing certain players in 6 months, it will be a red flag to me. That's kind of where like I'm at with it. I don't like saying that, but like some players are just too far gone for me. I'm sorry. Like the mistakes, the overhyping. There's just certain players that are, for me personally, I can't see them being leading us anywhere or taking us anywhere. Like there's like certain role players aren't good enough, but they're not affecting the team in that way. Like, yeah, does like Lindelof need to go? Probably, yeah, but he doesn't play.
Yeah.
He doesn't really affect too much. There's players that are playing week in and week out that affect the outcomes of games way too much, and they're getting. And to me, they need to dip. You feel me? Players who are on those high bumper contracts, Maguire, Rashford. I'm sorry, like you're surplus to requirements because you cost more than you are worth. You feel me? So certain players like that, I'm sorry, they need to dip. With all due respect.
I mean, I agree with you, but like how many of those? Because like Brian said before, there's quite a few of those that like total up, and obviously realistically, like they done last summer, I would say they had a reasonably good summer. I'm hopeful again this summer they'll do the same thing. If they were to like replicate it, what would that look like to you? Because like you said, Harry Maguire, Lindelof, Marcus Rashford, you've got Luke Shaw still there as well. There are big hitters, and I don't think they're going to be able to just go bang, 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 bang.
Yes, they can. They absolutely can. What's stopping them from doing that?
Real quick, Ned. So to be fair, there's certain. I think a lot of contracts they're gonna just run them out.
Maguire and Lindelof are out on
they're gonna run.
Their contracts are expired.
And there's also the fact that if we look at
If we look about Garnacho, guys.
Oh yeah, we got to talk about him for sure. But
let's talk about Garnacho. What did he mean by his latest Instagram post?
Oh, it's his brother, man. It's not him.
It's his brother. What do you mean?
No, as in if there's an Insta post, his brother's always controlling his socials, isn't it?
But he's letting his brother do that, so it's him.
He said, "Make it personal."
Yeah, what does that mean?
What do you mean by that? What do you mean by that?
This motherfucker. You know what? He thinks he's Yamal. He thinks he's Yamal. Let him land where? I hope he lands in Granada or Osasuna or Almeria.
Honestly,
because his play should not land in Manchester.
What's the hate though? If Rashford done this, I don't see the same reaction.
I hate Rashford, so why shouldn't I hate Garnacho? I don't get it. What do you mean? What's the hate? The hate is that he's rubbish.
Okay, I'm not gonna tell you what to do and what to feel. Can I ask you a question? Why do you hate Garnacho? Please let me know.
Because he's useless.
Why is he useless to you?
He's not good at carrying the ball. He runs into. He does the same thing Rashford basically does, and he doesn't score enough goals. Nor does he. He doesn't even have any cohesion with the team. When he shoots when he's supposed to pass, he passes when he's supposed to shoot, and even some of the passes that he gives is just out of when he realizes, oh, I can't go anywhere again. Let me just hit the ball towards the player.
Okay.
Most times he leaves the ball behind him when he's running. I don't need a player like that. And I want a player who can actually think before he does something.
Okay.
Yeah. To add to Nedu's point, because he's I agree with pretty much everything he said. I think the big challenge for Garnacho is like this is really the club's fault, is like the club still has the scourge of like we need to market certain players. Like he's a very marketable asset. You feel me? But on the pitch, he is not good enough. Like, and we treat him as if he's like a top winger. Like we treat him like we feed him the ball like he's a real proper player, and he's not. That's the real challenge. Is like his volume is very high, and his output is very, very low. Bro, he had so like.
No. Sorry, Tommy. I was talking about the super chat.
Oh, no, yeah, okay, no problem. If we look at last weekend, bro, he had so much of the ball. And he didn't do. I was having this argument, and this is gonna be. I know people don't like this take, but I'm like, people are like, oh, he scores. He doesn't score a lot of goals. He's a scorer.
He scored a lot of goals in the Carabao Cup.
What he is, Saeed, is he's a scorer. He's a scorer of great goals. He's not a great goal scorer. He scored some fantastic goals. He's not a great goal scorer. I'm gonna be real. People don't like this. I think Elanga is what is like.
people were like, "Oh,
You know what, Tony? Elanga is 2 levels above Garnacho. Like, we're not just saying Elanga is better. He's 2 levels above Garnacho.
Let's not do revisionism. Let's not do revisionism,
no.
guys.
We're
not going to do that. We're not going to do that. We're not going to do that.
You were cooking
We're not going to do that about Elanga. Sorry.
Tell him, please.
We won't do that. We won't do that. I don't.
Why can't I do that?
I don't have CT or PTSD, bro. I remember Elanga at United. We're not going to do that.
He didn't even get enough chances. What do you mean you remember Elanga at Manchester United?
He got
After Ragnick, and did he do bad under Ragnick?
He was dead, man.
What do you mean he was dead?
He wasn't
He was
dead.
a road runner, bro. He didn't shit, man.
Dan James 2.0. What are we doing here?
Okay, fine. Elanga was dead under Ragnick. Garnacho has been dead for 2 years.
Lady, do you know what
So what are we talking about? Fine, bullshit though.
Can I rebuttal, please, calmly? A lot of the stuff.
Yeah, of course.
If you said Greenwood, I would say yeah.
Wait.
Not
A lot of the stuff, Nate, a lot of the stuff that you said, I would agree to a point, and tell me, I would also agree to a point. My thing is, take into consideration the guy is just at 20, 21, or if he's even younger than that.
He's 20 and he's shit. So what are you trying to tell me?
No.
What do you mean? What is this age thing we're talking about? He's 20 and he's a shit 20-year-old.
Age is not an excuse.
Saeed, let me land to my point. Let me land to my point.
Land your point, but no age.
The only reason why I'm using the age to factor in what I'm about to say, I think if you're old enough, there should like if you're good enough, there is nothing about age. My thing in terms of Garnacho is that the fact that we're arguing about Josh Rosierski as well, who's got more experience as a professional footballer in his career, and he's coming to United in a dysfunctional squad. We've got a talented youth player.
Don't do that. Elanga was in a dysfunctional squad as well. We can't be doing this.
And he did it. Wait. Fair enough. Elanga came into the same thing, yeah. But guess what? Garnacho was giving me more moments
because he played more games.
That's fair. That's fair.
He played more games than Elanga did. Why are you talking like this, Extra Life?
There was times where Elanga had chances, he had opportunities. He had like 2, 3, 4 games.
And he had a whole
and he scored the goal against Atletico Madrid. Elanga actually had good games for us too.
Saeed, I remember a period, yeah, when Rashford was poor and everyone was just like, oh, rather start Elanga. I remember watching Ricky's content saying, oh, Elanga's a much better player. We'd rather get him. He had one good game and he kept playing. The next couple of games, he was washed. We was all screaming again, start Rashford. Bro, you can't do this to me.
Garnacho has had like 10 shit games and he keeps playing.
Don't be a hush puppy.
Elanga is clear of Garnacho.
I agree with you. Elanga is better than Garnacho, but at the time, when it was at United, I'm not hearing it.
Wait, real quick.
I can't believe we're doing this.
No, I'm being so serious. Wait, real quick. Let me make my point. Let me make my point on this whole thing, right? When Elanga came in, we were that was our worst season in history at the time, right? He broke through under Ragnick. I thought he was playing well. He wasn't scoring the goals, whatever the case may be, but he did at least he could go down the byline and cross the ball. At least he could do that consistently.
You know who else could do that? Dan James. Dan James could do that too.
Sometimes he was tripping over his own feet. I won't forget. Sometimes he was tripping over his own feet.
I'm not saying he's Mason Greenwood. I'm not saying he's a top talent like that. But the way we talk about Alejandro Garnacho as if he's his 90-minute performances are something that we should hold on to. The reason we like Garnacho is because he has the moments. I'll give it to him.
We don't even like him. He has no moments. That guy is rubbish.
He has the moments, but other than that, his 90-minute performances are generally mid. They are.
I agree. I said this before, and I said the same thing about Manu. Like, my thing is, I don't say, and let me say this because let me finish. Let me finish.
This brother.
Just because I said both their names in the same sentence, let me finish first. This is why I'm saying with Manu, and before the end of last season, I said coming into this season, I don't personally believe they should be starting for United. These are players that should be coming in and should be incorporated in the first team. These are young players that should be coming into a team, being able to develop, not basically being relied upon to carry the team forward. And what you have, and what you see is this: when you have a player that comes into a dysfunctional team and you rely on him for moments, and he delivers on occasion, they're gonna think every time they come into the team, all they got to do is bag, and that's what you saw with Rashford, and that's what you're starting to see with Garnacho.
You know why you can't compare them? One is going to be a starter for the future. I don't think Garnacho will ever be a starter.
Agreed. And I said agreed.
That's why you can't compare them.
Saeed, but one thing I would say is that, but they're all suffering from the same thing. We can trace all the youth players, no matter the talent level. If you want to say Greenwood, if you want to say Rashford, they are all suffering from the same thing. They need coaching. They all need coaching. Who needs coaching more? A less talented player or a more talented player?
Brian,
just answer the question.
A more talented player.
A less talented player.
A less talented player needs more structure, needs more coach. Are you going to tell?
It goes either way. To be honest, two things can be true. But anyway, what I'm saying is like, look,
that's not true.
Look.
Let me debunk this point.
That's being
I haven't finished making a point. I'll give you an example.
Fine.
Eden Hazard was garbage in training. Wasn't very talented. I mean, he's very talented, obviously. One of the most talented players in the Premier League. You're not going to teach Eden Hazard anything about football.
Because Eden Hazard is an anomaly. That guy is a maverick. You cannot be calling Mavericks and then you cannot call Eden Hazard in a Garnacho conversation.
It's about talent level.
But Garnacho is not even talented.
Okay, but that's my point. Regardless
you would know a player who you can coach.
If you're building a team, you can coach. If you're building a team, right? All the players Alex Ferguson had, not all of them were super talented. Not all of them were super talented.
But they were coachable.
Yeah, but they're coachable.
The ones that weren't coachable, what did Sir Alex Ferguson do?
Some of them had really long careers at Manchester United.
Like who? Who wasn't coachable and had a long career?
Nady, what are you doing?
Who wasn't coachable and had a long career at Manchester United?
Where would you put John O'Shea in terms of level of talent?
No,
John O'Shea was coachable. He did what he was asked to do.
Wait, Brian,
what makes a player coachable? What makes a player coachable?
Being a player who is at least willing to learn. That is a player that's coachable. A player who listens. A player who implements himself.
What has Garnacho done to show you he's not willing to listen?
Because liking tweets that is bashing the manager that actually put you on doesn't show me you're coachable.
Calling a 20-year-old your bum is childish.
First of all,
Nady, what you just done, you're a hypocrite, because you just got onto me less than 10 minutes ago. You just told me, why am I bringing stuff up from 10 years ago to make a point? Why are you going back all the way from Sir Alex Ferguson to make your point?
He went back all the way from Sir Alex Ferguson. Brian was the one that went back. What are you talking about? You know what? I'm convinced that you don't even have ears. I told you earlier you don't have eyes. Now you don't even listen.
Point about Sir Alex Ferguson. What are we doing here about John O'Shea?
I'm pretty sure you have a one stone white girl in your house.
Actually, to be fair, I brought
there's no way you're doing this.
No, I know you brought it up, but the fact that he's rebutted to it and he's still going on with the point is that, bro, why do you
Brian brought it up. I didn't bring it up. Brian referenced it.
No, that's fine. But why didn't you check Brian and tell him that's from over 10 years ago? Why are you using Sir Alex Ferguson?
Can I
finish my point?
Guys,
can I finish my point?
Crash out, man. Let's not crash out.
The simple thing is,
chill. Everyone chill. Brian, you go.
The simple thing is, depending on the level, we are not bringing through players properly at the club. Mainu, who we all think is very talented, we can all agree we think he's very talented, but he has struggled this season because of the very fact that we are not coaching players properly. Whether I like the player or not, all the players that we've had have not been coached properly. Now we can argue about the talent level if they're good enough anyway. Garnacho, I think he's useful. You've seen him come off the bench as a super sub and do things in games, in big games. We saw him what he did against Chelsea. We've seen him what he did against Barcelona when he came on a couple of seasons ago. So he's useful in that way. The problem is we are trying to take a player that's good as an impact sub. I'm trying to make him a starter. Who does that? That makes zero sense.
He's not even good enough as an interim.
But okay, Nedu, when you judge a football, I know everybody does it, right?
Yeah.
You don't like a footballer, you call them trash, call them horrible, call them shit. I don't see football that way, because we've seen a number of players leave Manchester United, go elsewhere, and do well. Even Elanga right now, people are starting to have revision on him because he's doing well elsewhere. They are useful. We have him at the club. Get the best out of him. Amorim is going to have to do that when he comes here, because he can't sell everybody at once. We still need players to play football. See, if Rashford gets injured, who's going to play? Garnacho is going to play. So we have to get the best use out of him until we buy players to replace him. So in my opinion, if you're going to do that, you need to coach them properly. In a situation where Garnacho was, where the ball, he had to make a pass for a player making an overlap. That is a coachable thing. He's not the only one that has done that same thing where they take a shot instead. I've seen Rashford do it. I've seen Bruno.
He's also arrogant though as well, Brian. As well.
Yes, he is. He has arrogance, but you can contain arrogance. When Cristiano Ronaldo came in, I'm sorry to use players from past, but it's a good example. When Ronaldo came in, he was very, very arrogant. What happened to him in training? They kicked the shit out of him. They kicked out that arrogance. Ruud van Nistelrooy was not happy with Cristiano Ronaldo. And this is one of the best talents. Like Roy Keane used to tear into Ronaldo. So when people were hyping up Casemiro for tearing into Garnacho, I'm like, this is normal. This is what should be happening.
But then I could flip that and say Ronaldo was arrogant because he knew he was better than everyone else, innit? And rightly so.
At the time, he wasn't, Saeed, though. At the time, he wasn't, though.
Bro, I'm saying, but at the time, though, he knew where his career was going and he believed in his ability.
To be honest, we didn't know that. We didn't know that. We all knew he was super talented, but nobody in this world can tell me that they saw what Ronaldo was in 2003 and what he turned into 2008. They were completely different players. Completely different.
Imagine putting Garnacho and Cristiano Ronaldo in the same conversation.
I'm not saying that Garnacho is going to turn into Ronaldo. I'm just saying that at the end of the day, you train what you have now. You guys are so focused on what's going to happen in the future.
There's no way you can look at Garnacho and be like, this guy is trainable. There's no way. I would not allow it. There's no way in God's green earth.
That's why
you can look at Garnacho and say there's a player in there. There's no player.
You remember what he did at Sporting Lisbon as well, by the way.
No, that's fine. That's fine. Then I can agree with you, Calder. No problem. There's no player in Garnacho. Real quick, I wanted to ask you this on the last few minutes.
Last point.
Now that this manager is coming in, pause. Would you guys keep thing? What's his name? Rude. Would you keep him here?
No. Get him out of here.
No.
Ship him off.
Everyone's saying no.
Bye. Salam.
You don't keep him at all.
Yeah, he can dip. Why does he need to stay?
Oh, cool. Thank
you. You don't need to stay. You got
thank you.
I didn't agree with his appointment.
Everyone's unanimous. Thank you. I'm glad.
But can I ask why you saying no? Though I want to know why you saying no.
There's no point. Like
because I didn't even like him from PSV. He was very similar to Ten Hag. Very, very similar.
He's unbeaten. Listen, he's doing his thing. Hopefully, he wins against and he wins against you know what? He's gonna carry on from what Carrick did. Little CV, build your CV, go somewhere else. Simple.
Yeah, and he's doing rubbish in Championship as well.
You know my concern is when
semi-final of the Carabao Cup. And
when I'm hearing stuff like, "Oh, I just want to be part of this club in any position," and then when I'm listening to his press conferences, I think it was the post-match when they were talking to him. It was like, "What?" No, it was the pre-match when they were asking him, "What tactics are you going to impose? Is it going to be your tactics?" And he was like, "Of course." It sounded like of a man that wanted to still want to impose himself in the club, like he wants to be here. I'm thinking, why? There's no need for you to be here, bro. Like you need to do it.
He can want it, but I don't think it should happen. And I don't think because Amorim is bringing over 5-6 people. Man, what's he gonna do?
I hope he brings the medical team too, because our medical team is rubbish.
Saeed, can I just address something really quickly? People are coming here.
Why did you do that, man? You put yourself in a rabbit hole.
No, because people are stupid. Like, I'm sorry, but do you guys not have comprehension skills? I'm not comparing Garnacho to Cristiano Ronaldo. Most of you were not even born when Cristiano Ronaldo came into Manchester United. I watched his debut. So don't say this nonsense. Like, I'm not comparing the two. Ronaldo is my favorite player ever. I'm making the points about player development. Mason Greenwood, we had him at this club, not to bring up his name, but we didn't develop him properly. Rashford, the same thing. You keep seeing players that are talented, not so talented, fail at the club when they are young, while doing the same thing to Kobe Mainoo. A year from now, thank God Amorim is in, but a year from now, if we had continued the way we're going, he was going to flop. Because why? We do not bring in players properly into the first team. That's the point I'm making.
Just like Arsenal used to do. Simple.
That's like these people, these kids. This is what I'm going to call them. These kids don't watch football enough. They don't watch football enough. They're like, oh, you're comparing Ronaldo. That jersey is Ronaldo. Do you see anything from Garnacho in this room? Do you see anything about any current player in this room? I beg you guys are saying nonsense. Don't bring up my Nigerian.
Yeah, the Nigerian uncle came out. Tell me you said the Nigerian uncle come out of Brian.
But I hate when people don't compare Garnacho to Cristiano Ronaldo. Are you a fool? Why would I do that? Why would I
Wow,
do that?
Brian
Don't look
crashed
at
out.
me.
Honestly,
Brian crashed out, man.
it's nearly how much time I'm spending my time doing. People are making stupid comments and they say you're comparing Ronaldo to Garnacho.
Tell
Are you a
them,
fool?
Uncle. Tell them,
Bro. The fuck?
Fuck them, uncle.
Like honestly speaking, people don't ever bring nonsense to me, man. I'm not the one.
Hey,
I'm not the
Saeed,
one.
you're joining on the bands. Have you tried J Rice yet?
Jollof rice, not yet.
Oh,
Yo,
man.
you need to come to Canada. Let me give you some jollof rice, man.
Right, why he wants a cookie. You know what I mean, bro? Like, allow
You
him,
know,
man.
there are so many people that don't like me because I cook them on Twitter. The only thing I have to say is go on a transformer, sit on it and rotate, bro. I
They
do
should
not
hug
care.
it.
Yeah.
Hug
The transformer.
Listen.
I do not give a
Hug
freaking
transformer.
like
That- no.
I keep telling people before Saeed crash like goes out, I do this for free. I don't make money off this shit.
Simple.
Do I look like I need this shit?
Simple.
I don't.
All these idiots.
And with that,
all these
good
useless
night.
people in the comments.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Oh, yeah,
Mic
yeah,
drop. You know what I mean? They're doing, man. A lot of waffling, man. We're finishing up now.
yeah.
But listen, people, let's guys, make sure you follow Wavy Temi on YouTube, guys. You know what I'm saying? To solid show, man. Big up to Wavy Temi, bro.
Appreciate it, man. Appreciate it, guys. I'm gonna be dropping my my reaction to the Sporting City game in probably an hour. You feel me? So be on the lookout for that. We're gunning for 900 subs now. So appreciate everyone who got us 800. Gunning for 900 subs now. So show your boys some love, man. Show your boys some love.
Yep. Big up to Ledu.
Yeah, big up, right? Thank you for letting me on the stream side. Big up, Temi, big up side, big up Brian. I'm not bigging up Estrella, guy. I'm not bigging up Estrella. Yeah. I'm not bigging up, but no. So guys, please. The thing with me is like I'm trying to start a YouTube, right? But I'm also someone who's a perfectionist. And I just bought a condo, so I want to move in and then just start when I do that. So like I really want to start, but like I don't know. It's kind of big ups to Saeed and big ups to Temi. That's not big up to you guys who have started. I don't know how. Like every time I try to like do a watch along or something, I'm just like it's just not ready, you know. So like I don't know. I'm gonna try to start. I'm supposed to be moving in December and then I'll travel. But once I come back, I promise I'll get it going.
Yeah, facts. Big up to you. Big up to as well, Estrella and Brian. Big up to you, man.
Yeah. I don't do football content really outside of Twitter, but like fragrances, man. You guys want at least you hear crash out about fragrances and stuff. That's my thing.
He gave me some good fragrances that I purchased. Oh my god. Compliment.
There you go, man. So make sure you do that, people. Big up to everyone who's came in from Rance's stream before as well. Larger, we got 1,000 likes as well. We're gonna redirect to Flawless, people. Flawless is live now, so make sure you go over there. Saeed TV Raid. Go check him out over there. And I'll see you tomorrow for the Mandem Talk. Take care. Bye-bye. Peace.